Good morning, and welcome to the only Monday you will have this week. This is your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And it just felt like this was a week to start with Tosha. So we have a chapter out of Outrageous Openness. Good morning, Barb. You're the first one popping on today. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. And we have a heat wave. It is 11 whole degrees out there. I am amazed. Yes, looking forward to 11 degrees. I think we're going up to 20-something today. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I am so pleased, especially since I need to go get groceries. So, we'll give it a minute for everybody to pop on. We'll do a little breathing and tapping, and then we'll jump into our chapter, which is Zen of Traffic. Zen of Traffic. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Glad you are here. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. I kind of laid low. Diane and I went for a drive on Saturday and did a few things in Oshkosh. And then yesterday I just kind of hung out. I think the only thing I did outside was go out and throw some garbage in the can. And then at the end of the day, haul the cans to the end of the road. And the junk has already been picked up. So when I feel up to bundling up, I'll wander out and pick up the can. So, hope everybody had a really good weekend. So let's start with some breath. Sadly, they say warmer rain on Thursday. You're getting rain. We're going to get snow, I guess. So, I don't know how warm it's supposed to be on Thursday. I want to say maybe right around. Maybe it will end up being slushy stuff. Good morning, Abigail. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the cute little snowflake hiding in the middle there, Carolyn. So, let us start with some tapping and some breath. Pick your spot. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Wiggle around a little bit. Here's some creaking and groaning in there. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Just settling yourself into right here, right now, looking around, using your senses to take in the things that you're enjoying in this moment. Like I'm hearing my humidifier run. We have forced air and it gets so dry in here. So I'm very happy with my little humidifier. It makes me much more comfortable. Rain in the UP is not good. No, you're going to end up with ice everywhere. And then it hangs on the lines, and it hangs on the poor trees, and the trees tip over onto the lines, and then nobody has power, and I remember it well. So, wishing you maybe a couple more degrees colder so that it actually is snow instead of rain. We'll see what happens. So, again, outrageous openness, Tosha Silver, letting the divine take the lead. Letting the divine take the lead. And the story that we're going to share this time is very much about that. How do you go with the flow? Good morning, Joniel. I knew you'd be popping on here at some point. How do you go with the flow and not try to force things to be something other than what they are? And maybe try to learn from them being what they are. And that's kind of the gist of the chapter. So if you have the book, it is on page 161 in my book. And the quote is by Lao Tzu, which is, those are always good quotes. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. Mastering ourselves. So, breath in. Breath out. The other day, my client Tina complained that events were preventing her from going on a spiritual retreat she'd planned for months. After sympathizing for a half hour, I finally said, maybe you don't even need one right now. After all, the universe is blocking it. And look, I said, waving her cards, here's the Chariot and Eight of Wands. It's about your vehicle. Why not just be conscious when you drive? Everything you need spiritually you could learn right in your car. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. She said I was completely bananas. Maybe, I giggled, but then why on earth do you call? Yet I really wasn't joking. The Zen of driving can develop all kinds of virtues. First one, trusting there's enough. When a person dives in like a raven and takes someone's parking space, I often figure she doesn't trust there's another spot with her own name on it. But really, if you're moving with the flow, you don't have to worry. When someone nabs your spot, you can think, good, they need it. And I always find what I need too. Another space invariably comes. That's a line that my friend Bobby Silverstone used a lot. Good, they got X. And I find what I need too. I always get what I need too. Setting it up that it doesn't become a zero-sum game. If you have more, I have less. That's garbage. That's a thought process that we can eliminate because it does not serve us well. We can see the fallout from that kind of thought process. Good, they need it, and I always find what I need too. Practice with me, class. Good, they need it. I always find what I need too. Doesn't that feel much better than, damn it, they took my spot, now I'm going to have to walk her? Yeah, not so good. Second one is generosity. Some people maneuver like everyone else is an obstacle, but driving is an easy place to be kind. There's always time to let other people merge into a lane or even go ahead of you. Good morning, Maureen. Glad you are here. And often they'll pay it forward to the next car. Yes, yes, yes. And we make assumptions about why people do what they do. So on the highway, if they close off a lane and everybody needs to merge into the one lane, oftentimes we'll make assumptions about why the person keeps barreling ahead even though the signs are telling them the lane is going away. Who knows what's going on in their head? And we oftentimes assume the worst. Thank you, Gwen, for posting that. Glad you did. And thank you for all the Christmas stuff, Maureen. Very fun. What if we assumed the best? Because if we assume the worst of somebody, look at that jerk driving up the right-hand lane. It's closing off anyway. Now he's going to be 5 cars ahead of me, blah, blah, blah. What does 5 cars amount to? 2 seconds at best. When I started doing the math on the driving, everything changed. Everything changed. I used to rush to get somewhere. And then I realized if it was an hour trip and I was going 2 miles an hour faster, all I gained was 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Most of the time, that is not a big, hairy deal. And it's not worth killing yourself or somebody else over. There was just a huge wreck on the major highway here, and they're still trying to find the person who caused it, but it was someone who was weaving in and out of all the cars. And there's a young woman who's in critical condition because of it. Does not pay. Does not pay. So, generosity, that's the second one. Third one is being with what is. Yes, presume positive intent. Thank you. That's a great way to put it. I appreciate that. Being with what is. Sometimes there's nothing to do but surrender. But if you pray to let go and enjoy the ride, something happens. Usually fighting reality is worse than the traffic itself. So if you're stuck in a traffic jam, chill. Take a breath. Call somebody and chat while you're sitting there dead stopped. Clear out your purse. Do something. Do some breath work. Call ahead to where you're going and say, I'm caught in traffic. I'm going to be late. It happens. It happens. Don't fight the reality. It happened. Here it is. Here's what I'm dealing with. How can I make this an okay thing? And you never know what that delay causes. I always think about that when someone pulls out in front of me and goes slowly. That's God slowing me down so that nothing bad happens. Thank you. It's a different way to look at it. It's presuming a positive intent, outcome, whatever you want to say. Abundance. My friend Cynthia taught me this. I used to park blocks away from a destination as soon as I saw something. She would scold me laughing. No. At least drive by first to see if the perfect space is waiting. Why do you assume it's not? Some of us choose to park further away so we get some actual exercise. That's not a bad thing. Make a choice. I'm probably usually one of the furthest ones parked out at the grocery store. Give Up the Struggle, Lynn Van Noy. Sounds good. Sounds good. Any of those kinds of books can help us set the tone for our day. That's actually what I hope to do with YEMIGs in the morning, is set the tone for your day. So now hopefully everybody who goes out driving today has a different perspective on it. Not I'm rushing around to pick up some stuff and all these people are in my way and look at the traffic around the mall and no. I'm just going to drive along. A little bit over the speed limit, because that's me. Yes, ask the angels for a parking spot. Absolutely. Compassion. I love to be in the car with my friend Chai from Alabama. Once when someone cut her off and flipped her the bird, she drawled, "Why, that poor child just didn't get enough lovin' when he was little. Betcha he never even got breastfed as a baby. That's why people do all this junk later, you know." And she really meant it. And to have that perspective, what's that going to do? It's going to keep her in compassion, not railing against this jerk who flipped her off. Equanimity, one of my favorite words. Equanimity and magnanimity, love them. Being able to breathe and be calm behind the wheel is a huge achievement. Someone might be able to hold a tripod headstand for an hour while chanting 200 Sanskrit verses and tossing a salad with her toes, but still be defeated by her car. So, notice for yourself. I mean, driving is like a microcosm of life. There are many things that are like that. Doing housework is like a microcosm of life. Being at work is like a microcosm of life. Pay attention to that microcosm. What is it trying to teach you? Oftentimes, if I'm ungrounded and not fully present, it's trying to teach me to slow down. My pace rapidly picks up when I'm ungrounded. So oftentimes it's trying to teach me to slow down. Oh, the train's going across. I'll look at graffiti. Oh, that's a pretty one. Slow down. What does your driving want you to know? What does your driving want you to know? I think there's tons of stuff we can learn from any little microcosm in our life. Pick one. Pick one. Shopping the grocery store is a microcosm of life. What can we learn from this? What do we need to learn from this? What's the message that's coming at us over, and we're still not quite picking it up? Open your eyes. Open your ears. Your intuitive eyes, your intuitive ears. What am I meant to know from how my day unfolds? I love that. Ooh, could one of you put that in the feed? What am I meant to know from how my day unfolds? We can make our lives so much deeper than what we've allowed for thus far. Let's take that deeper dive and see what happens. So I have to tell you, yesterday I did the most amazing thing. You know that odd-shaped deck that I have from Gabriel J. Merrihew. I remember who wrote it. Can I remember the title right now? I think it's an Oracle deck. Anywho, as I was putting away our card deck from yesterday, I saw that deck and I grabbed it and thought, I'm going to do a reading for myself. And it turned out really cool. That's a deck where you can pick out. Remember when I did the, thank you, Gwen, I appreciate it. When I did the shadow reading for all of us together, this one I picked out a different group of cards. I can't remember what he called it, but the gist of it was the 4 elements: fire, air, water. What am I missing? Earth. Missing earth. Those 4 elements for the first 4 elements of the card deck. So fire, air, earth, water. And you end up with 16 cards. And then you pull a card for each of the lower 5 chakras. It was so spot on. It was amazing. So my intention is every morning I'm going to reread the analysis that I did for that, because I think it's so going to set me up for the kinds of days I want and need to have to accomplish what I'm here to accomplish. So that was really cool. As you're approaching the end of the year here, spend some time thinking about, how did 2025 go? Am I happy with what occurred in 2025? How did I navigate the things that were difficult? Ask yourself some questions, ponder with it. And what would I like for 2026? How would I like things to unfold? How can I bring more of this flexibility and discernment into my 2026? There's all kinds of good questions you can ask. And my setting of intention for 2026 is that it's always an open intention. This is what I want, but perhaps the universe has something better in mind. This or something better. Let's see what unfolds. So, have an awesome day today. Happy Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.